What brings me out to this rally? My right to choose.
Okay then. How do you feel about gender? Oh, apparently we have members of Antifa here, and they're telling these people that they shouldn't be talking to us.
I'm nobody's handmaid.
Well, I'm at Queen's Park here in Toronto, and there are two competing abortion rallies. Right here we have the pro-life camp, and to the south of me we have the pro-abortion camp. I'm not sure if there's going to be any converts to either camp here today, but nevertheless, why don't we go to some of these people and find out what brings them out here today. Well, you can see this gentleman holding a sign above his face, being pro-life is against my religion. And then I think I have the answer to what the religion is. There's a pentagram there. That would be a symbol associated with Satanism. Now I'm wondering, who was in the news recently kicking a pro-life protester who was also wearing a pentagram? Let's roll that footage right now.
It's a baby. If someone was raped and she gave birth and she decided to kill her 3-year-old child.
Now there's a fellow with he looks like a punk rocker from the 1980s with the haircut and the body piercings, holding up a sign stating, "I wish I was aborted." You know, folks, there's a punchline just dangling there. I'm not going to say it. Here's another profound sign. Why is it that most of the people who are against abortion are the same people you wouldn't want to F in the first place? I guess he's suggesting that pro-life people are sexually unattractive, that they're ugly. And isn't it the loving left that is so against body shaming? Once again, folks, does not compute. Hi, sir.
Menzies.
Oh, that's a nice greeting. You don't want to talk about why you're here?
Go away.
Okay. All right, we'll try this lady. Hi, ma'am. Can I ask you what brings you out to this rally?
What brings me out to this rally? My right to choose.
Okay, then. How do you feel about gender? Oh, apparently we have members of Antifa here, and they're telling these people that they shouldn't be talking to us.
I'm nobody's handmaid.
You're nobody's handmaid? And how do you feel about gender selective abortions?
Boo!
How do you feel about
You! You! Suck a d***. Can you air any of this? Suck a d***. Butt.
you can't articulate your points better than
I
yelling?
just don't want you to be able to post any of this online. You, butthole. Suck a d***.
Well, that's quite profound, but I was hoping to find out what her position was. Can you ask me one question? Ma'am? What is your position on sex-selective abortions?
You asshole.
You don't care that 20...
Liar. You are a liar.
What have I said that's been a lie so far?
Liar. My body, my choice.
What about the... What... What about the... Okay, this says safe. Well, folks, I'm trying to read their sign, but they're throwing it in my face, so I can't read it. But a lot of noise, signifying nothing, I would assume, because we can't get them to articulate their positions. Sounds like a horror movie behind me, all this screaming. You know. Would anyone else like to try to speak? Yeah, I heard you. Middle fingers. One of the questions I'm trying to ask them is that since the 1970s, thanks to sex-selective abortions, 23 million girls have been aborted. They don't want to answer that question. Also, I wanted to get their point of view on how they feel about violence on campuses by those who are pro-life. there seems to be a tolerance of that, destroying displays and even assault. And I am sure that we'd be assaulted right now if not for the presence of law enforcement. As you can see there, this is the go-to tactic of trying to drown out the narrative by playing music, maybe trying to lodge a copyright violation if it gets onto video. Anyways, we'll try going back there and see what they say. Can anyone speak? Oh, excuse me. This is another tactic. They're trying to block our way so that we bump into them and they talk about an assault charge. I see this lady has a cap. It says "nasty woman." I think that might be called truth in advertising. Why do some of you wear masks? Oh, you can't ask them anything, guys. Find a new hobby. What does that mean, reproductive justice for all, ma'am? No one wants to talk? Do you support sex selective abortions, sir? I may as well be interviewing that wall here. Welcome to a vortex of insanity. You cannot get anyone to articulate their point of view.
Shame!
Sir, why don't you take off your burqa and show us who you really are? Cat, got your tongue?
我唔講英文啊，對唔住。
Oh, okay then. I think he's speaking Klingon or something.
啊，係啊，傾講啦，你個老母，屌你老母，冚家鏟，你翻去寫啊！
Very profound. You know, you assume that when people go onto the public square with signs and megahorns that they want to engage in dialogue. But again, as we have found out from the increasingly violent and intolerant left, there is no dialogue. There is no discussion on what they stand for. And we tried. It's funny, though, that look how calm and collective and reasonable the people on the pro-life side are. I would argue this, regardless of your position on abortion, the people here advocating for abortion, if that's the side you support, they are not doing you any good service. Just wondering what brings you out to this rally today.
I just feel really passionate that we need to show love to the mothers who are hurting and also the babies that are hurting and don't get to experience a voice.
You know, one of the angles of the abortion debate, certainly you have your opponents over there, but we've noticed that on campus, those supporting pro-life, they have their displays damaged, they are physically assaulted. Why is it that these people that are opposing your viewpoint want to shut down your voice?
I don't know, it makes me feel really sad, and I think that the way to make something good come of this and have people feel healed and appreciated on both sides is not violence, compassion. Compassion for the mother who's been hurt, compassion for the baby who's been hurt. It's not an either or, it's a both. It's a love both, it's a heal both.
Mostly because the more extreme they get on the abortion issue, the louder they have to yell to drown out the sounds of their own conscience.
They're supposed to be so accepting, but I think the big issue that they're having a hard time with is cognitive dissonance. They know that they don't have a moral argument, so the only way that they can quantify that and sort of cope with that in their own mind is to act in the most immoral way possible, to validate their own immoral thoughts.
The culture is beginning to shift in favor of life, and proponents of, can I say, death, are feeling threatened.
So in other words, they're sore losers.
I'd like to think so.
They advocate that it is a woman's right to choose. One of the questions I wanted to ask them, but they wouldn't answer it, is that we know that since the 1970s, there has been 23 million sex-selective abortions. In other words, girls being aborted because the parents in the particular culture wanted a boy. And I'm just wondering why they won't address that kind of hypocrisy.
I think it's fear. I think it's not wanting to look inside, because then you have a responsibility.
It's funny. I would imagine there's a lot of feminists on that side, yet sex-selective abortions, that's completely against the idea of feminism.
100%. Women today are rising up, but it's a different rising up. It's a togetherness. It's a collaborative rising up. And in that spirit, we should want to have daughters, to train them to make a difference, not to stop them before they have a chance.
Well, these are fake feminists. These are fake egalitarians. If you don't care about the life of an unborn woman, then you don't care about the rights of a living woman. If you won't even see that she gets to be born, then you stand for nothing.
Sin doesn't make sense, right? Wickedness doesn't make sense. What God calls good, they call bad. What God calls bad, they call good. So it doesn't make sense.
Canada is sort of unique amongst countries in that we don't have a law pertaining to abortion. What would you like to see our elected representatives put into Parliament in terms of an abortion law?
Well, to start off, I think that they should legislate for the consensus, right? We're a democratic country, so they have to look at where public opinion is and legislate from that. And so more than 60% of Canadians would support abortion restrictions. 80% of Canadians don't know we have no law at all, and 92% of Canadians oppose sex selection abortion. I'm not sure you can find 92% of Canadians who agree on anything other than that. So there are many good places for legislatures to stand up and say, look, right now Canada is not a pro-life country, but at the same time, there are many good places to start putting into place protections for preborn children that huge pluralities of the country would support.
With those kind of numbers, why do you think that there is no political will, regardless of the political stripe of the party, to pursue this issue?
Well, I think pro-life people have to get involved in politics, and I think, as we're seeing across the way there, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Whoever shouts loudest is the one who often gets the attention. And so I think it's interesting when you look at the abortion debate, the fact that they are the ones that make the most noise and they make the most demands has led to a scenario in which pro-lifers are easy to ignore. So we have to make ourselves very difficult to ignore, and that's part of what today's all about.
Well, there you have it, folks. The abortion issue is not going away anytime soon. But it's kind of odd, isn't it, that when it comes to the two opposing camps, pro-life and pro-choice, the pro-life camp, seems to be comprised of very civil, decent people that want to actually discuss and debate the issue, whereas these members of the pro-choice camp, they just want to drown out discussion with noise and profanity and vulgarity. I'm not saying everybody in the pro-choice movement is part of this camp, but for now, when they come out in public, these are certainly not ambassadors for the pro-choice cause. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, the Rebel has a new app. Please download that app and take the Rebel with you wherever you go.